Whether you're addicted to your device, or you're tired of spending money unnecessarily, or you're just tired of companies being super creepy lately, maybe it's time to leave big tech. There are a whole host of reasons why you may want to leave big tech, and frankly, all of them are valid. Everyone has their own journey and their own story as to why they want to leave big tech, and some people may just want to leave one service or another and not everything in total. There's no all or nothing thing when leaving big tech. I think any small changes will make a big change when it comes to those companies understanding why people are fed up with them. There are so many incremental changes, again, that you can make that I think it can get a bit overwhelming, especially for somebody just diving into leaving big tech. You don't have to delete all your accounts, bury your device in your yard, and live off the grid. You can make small changes, and those small changes can lead to bigger changes and help you think differently on how you use your tech. I've been leaving big tech for the past couple years, whether it be through digital minimalism, changing my devices, operating systems, trying out new services, and I think all of these changes have taught me a few things. You can pay for a guru or a course, but honestly, all of this information is free on the internet. And I think a lot of people have experience that can be passed on of what to do, what not to do. And I get this question all the time with my friends and family. How can I leave big tech? So I wanted to create this video as an introductory of how to leave big tech. I'm not going to give a how to leave all of your services and accounts and things like this. I'm just going to plant the seed. I'm going to give you some options, what's worked for me, what I'm doing right now, and kind of help guide you towards that path of leaving big tech. Now, when people say big tech, of course, most people think of Google, Amazon, Meta, but I'm talking about all big tech. I'm talking about the streaming services. I'm talking about anything that can be connected to one of those big companies, of course. But more importantly, we need to think about the companies behind the big tech. Now, recently, there's been a lot of information about age verification and what all of this implicates for our privacy. Now, the average person doesn't really understand what that means because we don't understand how these companies are making money and how our data is so valuable. To put it in perspective, all of the data that you put in the internet creates a profile. Whether you're using a service, whether you're creating an account, searching items, using AI, all of that information is gathered and put into a profile where companies know who you are, almost scarily so. They know your health conditions, they know your fears, they know when you're depressed, they know everything. And that information is super valuable. Companies are willing to pay a lot of money for that to sell you things. But it doesn't stop at just selling you things. This information could be stolen, and your identity could be stolen. And more recently, we're seeing government implications for these profiles. Governments are able to profile you based on your immigration status, where you're living, what you're doing, and they're able to use this information, for example, in the United States, regarding ICE. Now, one company that's behind all this data collection and implications is Palantir. Now, Palantir is behind a lot of the age verifications being rolled out on platforms such as Discord, Reddit, and so many more. And this information is being used against people in different countries. I mean, in Europe, this is happening as well. We're seeing it a lot more at the UK. And we need to be more aware of how big tech is really being implicated in more than just advertisements. Now, if all this information is overwhelming, I completely understand. I'm in the same boat as you. I think anyone who's concerned with privacy or really wants to take ownership of their data, this can be a lot to take in. But I want to assure you, you can make small changes, again, that can lead up to bigger changes and really take back control of your digital identity a bit more. Now, these profiles are only valuable if they're complete and updated regularly. So if you start making smaller changes, your profile might become a little bit more obscured for these bigger companies. One of the first changes I would recommend for anybody is to change your search engine. If you're somebody who's searching quite often, this information is being used against you, most likely for advertisements. So, first, if you don't know what a search engine is, when you open an application such as Safari if you're on an iPhone or Chrome if you're on an Android device, you will notice you have a search bar at the top of the application. Now, your search engine by default on a lot of these applications is Google. You can change this. If you're using Safari, you can change it to another one directly in the application. And if you're using Chrome, you can change it as well in the direct application. Now, which search engine you use is definitely up to you. Everyone has a different preference. I've tried a couple different ones, such as Quant, and now I'm on Ecosia. People have preferences for search engines depending on how you use them. So, which information you're looking for more often than not will determine which search engine best meets your needs. Now, once you're comfortable with a new search engine, I highly recommend changing the browser completely. Now, using a default application for most people when they buy a device is kind of just a habit. You don't go looking for different browsers. But I highly recommend changing the browser and using a different search engine as to Google Chrome. For example, you can change to Firefox, you can change to Brave, Ecosia. I choose Ecosia personally, and I choose the Ecosia search engine just to have them match up a little bit. You can choose whichever combo you like, but honestly, by changing your browser and your search engine, you're removing a lot of information that's added to that digital profile that's created on you. This will make a huge change without making much change on your device. Now, once you're comfortable with your new browser and your new search engine, and you want to go a little bit further, I would recommend creating an email that is not attached to Google or to Apple, and of course to Microsoft. If you can, or if you have the possibility, a lot of services will require a smaller fee, and the service is usually better. If the service is free, probably you are the product and they're taking that information and selling it. So I highly recommend checking out different email providers. A lot of them are very cheap. I'm talking maybe $1 a month. And take a look at which ones would meet your needs. I'm not saying delete all the accounts that you have. I'm saying maybe start a migration process. This means that you can forward all of your old email accounts and emails that you received to your new email inbox to slowly migrate and change accounts as you receive those emails. I've been doing this for over a year and I've been able to delete a couple of my Gmail accounts. I still have a couple hanging around with accounts that are attached to YouTube, for example, and services that I absolutely need through Google. But the majority of my important information attached to accounts that I don't want attached to big tech have been successfully migrated over to my new email address. I've been using Postio as my personal email provider because it allows you to create multiple aliases. Rather than having to create a new email account for specific services, you can create an alias that links to your main account and sends those emails directly to one account. This saves a lot of time, a lot of headache of having to remember passwords and things like this. Everything is just linked in one place, and I like that for my email accounts. Now, a lot of people use the Proton services. I've heard a lot of great things about Proton. I think the email works great. And people looking to change their entire ecosystem from one to another, this could be a possibility as well. I'm somebody who's trying to keep all of my services kind of decentralized. I don't want one company having all of my information because if that company is sold off or that company is compromised in some way, I don't want profiles to be built that are complete of me. I want little pieces maybe here or there, but I just don't want to give one company all that power ever again. What you have to keep in mind with emails, we're always creating accounts attached to our email account. The easiest way, of course, is to sign in with your Apple account, sign in with your Google account. So if you start creating accounts that aren't attached to the big tech companies, they know a little bit less about you. which applications you're signing up for, which services you use. All of this information is taken away, and that power is taken away from them. So even if you're just creating an account that is a free services and very limited, I would suggest doing this just for creating accounts. So that way they're not attached to you directly. Now, if you're somebody who's looking to leave an ecosystem completely, whether that be Apple, Google, or Microsoft, you may be looking for a storage service, a cloud storage, for example. If you're looking to store something, there are so many services out there for storage. Again, you can use Proton if you're moving to the complete ecosystem, but there are a multitude of other cloud storage. You can even host your own if you're that technically inclined to. Personally, I use Internext, which is a European-based cloud service. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I'm just using it for now. You even have more simple applications such as Entei Locker, which I recently reviewed, and I find this works well for a password manager or specific documents that I need on hand. There are so many options for cloud storage, you don't have to stay with Apple or with Google, and there's a lot more affordable options as well. You'll notice that if you store all of your photos and documents onto one service, especially Apple, this could start costing a lot of money per month and per year. I found that I've saved a lot of money moving off of these services. I was using iCloud at one point, and then I had switched over to Google One. It was just so much money being spent to store stuff, and that stuff is not just sitting there for you to use, it's also sitting there for the tech company to scan, train their AI, and use that information as they see fit. If you've migrated and changed all of these services and you still want to go a little bit further, I would suggest finding another photo application. You can use other photo applications besides Apple Photos or Google Photos. I use, for example, Entei Photos. I've been talking about them forever, and I just love that they work on all platforms seamlessly. I can use it on my desktop. It just works, and honestly, it's very affordable if you need to upgrade your space. Now, another tip if you want to go further down the realm of leaving big tech, you can look into the different services that you're using. I'm talking about social media and streaming platforms. Recently, a lot of platforms have been getting flack for their lack of privacy due to the age verification, and rightfully so. Not all of us want to give that information, and honestly, it's not protecting children in any way. In fact, most of these companies are run by billionaires who are implicated in a pedophile ring. So, in order to get away from these platforms, I would highly recommend checking out decentralized or open source options. These platforms might not be as mainstream. As somebody who's a content creator and lives on YouTube, a lot of times we have to share information to get our videos seen, heard, and being somebody who's against a lot of these platforms, it's quite difficult to switch over. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not easy for some people, especially when your livelihood depends on it. But I'm making a conscious effort trying to leave these platforms. Some are better than others, and some are just trash like the other one. So I'm not saying social media as a whole is something that you need, but you need to check out different options if you're looking to leave certain platforms. For example, if you're on Twitter or X, you can try out Blue Sky. I know both are problematic in their own ways. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but give some options and give some possibilities to people in order to try out some decentralized options. Another big one recently is Reddit. Now, if you haven't heard, Reddit is going down the same path as Discord. They're going to be doing more age verifications. They're already scanning all of your information and making profiles on you and sending that to government entities. So in order to reduce that, first, I would say leave Reddit. Second, if you feel that you need a connection with groups or similar communities, there is the option of Lemmy. Lemmy's a little bit less active than Reddit, but you find similar communities, of course, and the more people who join and post, the more animated it will be. I've joined similar communities that I had on Reddit on Lemmy, and I'm finding it more and more useful, I guess, because ads aren't being shoved down my throat. I don't have AI and bots everywhere on the platform, and there's a lot less rage bait, I find out, than I do on Reddit. So I do feel like it's a positive change for my mental health, and I'm going to keep trying it out. If you're somebody who's on Instagram a lot, there is a new platform that is emerging from Europe known as Monet. Now, it's very new. They have a lot of work to do, of course, but it is an option for those who want to stay in the same kind of sphere as an Instagram application. Now, lastly, in this quick rundown of different applications, I'm going to talk about Discord, of course. For those of you who are new to my channel or don't know who I am, I did leave Discord, and my community that I was managing on YouTube was there. And we've switched over to Matrix, and specifically, I'm using Element as my Matrix access. If that sounds confusing to you, don't worry, it did to me as well. So basically, I've created the same kind of rooms and the same kind of community, but on Matrix rather than Discord, because I completely do not support Discord and how they're doing their age verification process. And honestly, I don't trust them with any data at this point. Now, those are just a few examples. I may go into a more in-depth video on that subject. If you're interested, let me know down below. Now, if you're looking to get rid of some streaming services, I highly recommend just signing out of a lot of them. Quit your accounts, don't pay anymore. If you absolutely need to use certain ones at certain times, you can resubscribe for that month and then unsubscribe again. Not only will this save you a lot of money, but it will save you a lot of time from getting sucked in. If you're somebody who doesn't want anything to do with those companies, which I highly support, I highly recommend deleting your accounts and maybe checking out your local library. There are a lot of movies and DVDs. You can rip those DVDs if you want, or if you're technically inclined to. It's really not hard. And you can store those movies, DVDs, even at the thrift store. You can buy those things and you can store them on your own. You can store them on your computer. You can share them with a server on your home devices, and you can save a lot of money, and you can have the movies, the TV shows, and the music that you're really interested in. Now, I want to talk about Spotify specifically. A lot of people are still on Spotify and using Spotify. I, again, have not used it in 2 years. I've went through a lot of different processes on how to get music through Spotify. I've bought a lot of CDs at thrift stores. I've bought MP3s online. There are so many different options on how to get music nowadays. And there are some that you can sail the seas with, if you know what I mean. Check out Monochrome. So there are different ways to get music without supporting companies who are seriously taking advantage of people's privacy. Now, that's just a global overview of how to leave big tech, or what I've done at least in the past couple years. There are much better pieces of advice, of course. If you have any, leave it down below. Specific applications, your setup, everyone's is different. And I think the more we talk about it and the more we share, it will give the average person, and maybe someone who has no technical background, to have the push to at least change their search engine and browser. Now, we can go further, of course, if we want to talk about operating systems on computers and Linux, to be precise, which I think I will go down in separate videos. I think just to have an introduction and have people think about it a little bit more is more important than just going right into telling you to change everything in your life. Thank you so much to the members who support the channel. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. And thank all of you for watching, and see you soon.